Beyoncé Giselle Knowles was born on September 4, 1981, in Houston, Texas, into a household that was nurturing yet modest. Her parents, Matthew Knowles and Tina Knowles, recognized early on that their daughter possessed a spark that set her apart from other children. Tina, a talented hairdresser and fashion designer, and Matthew, a businessman who worked in sales at Xerox before diving into the music industry, provided both the creativity and business acumen that would later become crucial in shaping Beyoncé's career. From the moment she was little, she displayed an uncanny ability to sing, dance, and command attention. Even as a young child, she astonished her family by hitting high notes and mimicking songs with precision. It was during a school talent show, when she belted out John Lennon's "Imagine," that everyone realized Beyoncé's voice was something extraordinary. Her early years in Houston were marked by discipline, training, and relentless pursuit of excellence. Tina enrolled her in dance classes, where Beyoncé began to develop her sense of rhythm and stage presence. She practiced tirelessly, sometimes to the point of exhaustion, but she never complained. Her competitiveness and perfectionist streak were evident from the beginning. She wasn't just interested in being good, she wanted to be the best. This drive was coupled with a natural charisma that drew audiences to her even as a child. Soon, she joined a girls' singing group called Girls' Tyme, which became the foundation of what would later evolve into the legendary group Destiny's Child. Girls' Tyme was composed of several young girls who shared Beyoncé's dream, and under the watchful eye of Matthew Knowles, the group began performing locally. Their big break came when they appeared on the nationally televised talent show Star Search. While they didn't win, the experience lit a fire in Beyoncé and taught her an early lesson about resilience, rejection, and the importance of perseverance. She vowed that setbacks would not define her. Instead, they would become stepping stones to something greater. Matthew, recognizing his daughter's talent and the potential of the group, decided to leave his corporate job to manage them full-time, a risky decision that put financial pressure on the family but one that would ultimately pay off. The group underwent several lineup changes before finally solidifying into Destiny's Child, composed of Beyoncé, Kelly Rowland, and Michelle Williams. Signed to Columbia Records, they released their debut album in 1998. The group's mix of soulful harmonies, catchy hooks, and empowering lyrics quickly earned them attention. Songs like No, No, No introduced them to the world, but it was their second album, The Writings on the Wall, that catapulted them into stardom. With hits such as Bills, 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 and Say My Name, Destiny's Child became one of the most successful girl groups of all time. Beyoncé's leadership and commanding stage presence quickly made. As Beyoncé entered the new decade of the 2010s, her stature in the music industry had reached a rare level of dominance, yet she was not content to remain comfortable. She sought to constantly evolve as an artist, exploring new sounds, pushing creative boundaries, and using her influence to redefine what it meant to be a global entertainer. In 2010, after years of grueling schedules, she took a brief hiatus from music to focus on herself. This period allowed her to recharge, reflect on her purpose, and reconnect with her family. The break was short-lived, however, as her creativity would not allow her to stay idle for long. She returned with renewed energy, ready to embark on the next chapter of her journey. In 2011, Beyoncé released her fourth studio album, simply titled 4. The album was a departure from the mainstream dance-pop trends of the time, showcasing a more mature sound influenced by R&B, soul, and Afrobeat. Songs like Love on Top and Run the World, Girls reflected her desire to create music that was both timeless and empowering. Although the album did not dominate charts in the way some of her earlier projects had, it demonstrated her willingness to take risks and create art that reflected her growth as a woman and as a performer. That same year, she and Jay-Z welcomed their first child, Blue Ivy Carter, into the world. Motherhood transformed Beyoncé on a profound level. She described Blue Ivy's birth as a spiritual awakening that redefined her priorities. While the world still saw her as a superstar, Beyoncé increasingly viewed herself through the lens of being a mother, a wife, and a woman striving to balance her roles with grace. The challenges of motherhood, coupled with the pressures of maintaining a career at the highest level, added new dimensions to her artistry. Themes of family, legacy, and empowerment began to dominate her music and performances. In 2013, Beyoncé shocked the world with the release of her self-titled visual album, Beyoncé. Without any prior announcement, she dropped the album on iTunes overnight, complete with a music video for each song. This bold move disrupted the traditional music industry model and demonstrated her visionary approach to art and business. The album featured hits like Drunk in Love, Partition, and Flawless, songs that showcased her versatility and confidence. The project was lauded as revolutionary, not only because of its surprise release but also because of its artistic depth, exploring themes of sexuality, feminism, and self-expression. The song, Flawless, in particular, incorporated a speech by Nigerian writer Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, highlighting feminist ideas and sparking global conversations about gender equality. Beyoncé was no longer just an entertainer, she had positioned herself as a cultural force who used her platform to challenge stereotypes and champion social issues. Her artistry had become inseparable from activism, and she embraced the role with determination. As the world entered the 2020s, Beyoncé's influence had grown so vast that her every move carried cultural weight. The decade began in a time of uncertainty, with a global pandemic reshaping industries and lives everywhere. For Beyoncé, it was both a period of reflection and renewed action. In 2020, she released Black is King, a visual album that accompanied The Lion King, The Gift. The project was more than music and visuals, it was a cinematic celebration of African heritage, spirituality, and beauty. With stunning imagery and deeply symbolic storytelling, Beyoncé wove together themes of ancestry, self-discovery, and pride, offering the work as a dedication to her son and to future generations of Black children. Black is King received critical acclaim and was praised as a masterpiece of cultural representation. At a time when the world grappled with issues of race, justice, and identity, Beyoncé used her platform to amplify voices demanding change. Through her Be Good initiative, she supported communities affected by the pandemic, contributing to testing efforts, food distribution, and financial aid for struggling families. She also publicly lent her voice to movements for racial justice, urging systemic reform and calling for unity. Beyoncé had long been known for perfection in performance, but in these moments she reminded the world that her artistry was inseparable from her humanity and activism. In 2022, Beyoncé once again redefined her career with the release of Renaissance, an album inspired by house, disco, and club music traditions. The project was a vibrant celebration of freedom, self-expression, and joy. It paid homage to Black and queer musical pioneers whose contributions had often been overlooked, bringing those sounds and stories to the forefront of global pop culture. Songs like Break My Soul became anthems of resilience in the post-pandemic world, encouraging listeners to break free from limitations and rediscover themselves. The album's success reminded everyone of Beyoncé's ability to adapt, innovate, and lead cultural conversations no matter the era. The Renaissance World Tour that followed was one of the most ambitious and successful tours of her career, dazzling fans with elaborate stage designs, futuristic costumes, and flawless performances. Critics and audiences alike hailed it as a showcase of her artistic brilliance and her relentless work ethic. The tour also highlighted her role as a businesswoman, as she carefully curated the experience to extend beyond music, incorporating fashion, digital engagement, and visual storytelling. Each performance was not just a concert but a cultural event that drew millions of people into her universe. By now, Beyoncé was not only an artist but also a brand, an empire, and a symbol of global influence. Through Ivy Park, she created clothing lines that blended fashion with empowerment, consistently emphasizing diversity and inclusivity in her campaigns. Her ventures into film.